So now we're going to move on to potato. There are some places you would never put the ginger poultice. You would never put a ginger poultice on an eye. But you can put a potato poultice on the eye because potato is very gentle. And again, I use my plastic, put the cloth down and grate it. And you can use a bigger size grater with the potato, but you can also use this smaller one. Potato is very wet, and so I do advise don't grate too much because there's nothing worse than leaking grated potato poultices. It can stain.
So you keep the skin on?
Yep. I do wash the dirt off, but we do have common sense there. So that's about how much potato I've put on. It's probably a heaped teaspoon. And then I fold it over again to make the poultice, the little package. And you can see that already the juice is starting to come out. And it's the juice that goes into the skin. And the potato juice is high in potassium, high in phosphorus, which those minerals help with the healing. But the value of the potato is it's very cooling. It's very soothing. So the lady that rang me this morning, who'd scratched her eye, and she said, I think there might have been a bit of dirt under my nail because it's red and raised. Potato. Potato is very cooling and soothing wherever there's tissue inflammation. So tissue inflammation would be an ingrown toenail, would be in a splinter that you couldn't get out and now the tissue's all swollen. Sprained ankle. So anywhere where you've got tissue inflammation, the potato is very good. I don't know, sometimes you don't know. And yet a simple grated potato. One of the reasons I explored these in detail was that I didn't want to give my children drugs. And the other reason was I live in the rainforest. We're an hour away from anywhere. And you can do so much with these simple things that you've got in your home, because every home has a potato. We've also helped quite a few stepping on rusty nails. I stepped on a rusty nail, just did a grated potato. My little grandson trod on a rusty nail. Now when the men are building, where do the little boys want to be? Where the men are building. And he'd followed them where they're building, and there were planks out there with rusty nails coming out, and he had one of those rubber crocs on, you know those, do you call them crocs? And he stood on it and went through the croc right up into his foot. Anyway, he was crying, and my husband said to his mum, because it's my son's little boy, take him to his grandma. So the first thing that you do, and what are little boys that have been following the men on the job site, they're dirty. So you wash him. So I put him in the bath. You know, the bath relaxes him, soothes him, and you can wash the wound because it was quite dirty. And then I did a grated potato poultice about that size and put the little 3-year-old foot on that and then bandaged it on, put a sock on and put his little croc back on because, you know, they're quite fat. And he was very happy and off he went. I did this about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They bathed him. They put a fresh one on overnight. In the morning it looked so clean and looked so good and it wasn't sore, but they put shoes and socks on him for the day. And by the end of the day it was starting to get a little bit red, so they put another grated potato poultice on. By morning it's all clean again. End of the next day, so 3 nights they did the grated potato poultice and they didn't do it again because it was all healed. Now if it gets red again, what do? Another grated potato poultice on it. Now, after the 3rd night, William said to me, Mum, look at this. And he showed me the poultice. He kept it. He took it off the boy. And there were little bits of almost fluorescent blue metal. The grated potato had pulled the rusty metal out of the foot.